kind of been starting, my New Year's resolution with this idea around flow. So I've been doing a little bit of journaling, and there was, gee, I think I was reading a book by Thich Nhat Hanh, and The Art of Living, and
Love that book.
but there was a quote that came, and I'm not sure whether it came from there, but it was around leadership is a spiritual journey, going beyond ourselves, letting go of ego, and allowing it to work through you. So I'd love to
Yeah,
just get your thoughts around that, and how does that sort of
I love
quote
this so
resonate
much.
with you?
It does. It does. It's something that I have been experiencing, thinking about, and talking about more frequently with the leaders that I talk to, and mostly around like I feel like a lot of leaders aren't necessarily conscious of that, but when you talk about the behaviors or the thought process in their leadership, it all comes back to that. When you get to a certain, and I hate to call it level, layer, when you get to a certain layer of leadership, it, it you either stagnate there or you pop into this next layer, which is definitely spiritual. And so a couple quotes that resonate with people when I bring this up is the one I always forget who it is, Einstein maybe. You can't solve a problem with the level of mind that created it. And
Einstein is
so
attributed to it, but I'm not sure if it is
I'm
his,
not
but
actually sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
but everybody quotes it as if it was Einstein's.
Yeah. So I love that because as I've studied that book, Power versus Force, and the map of consciousness, and the different levels of consciousness, that's where you can really see when you're coming from ego. Often what I do is move people from ego to essence. What's your unique disposition, your contribution to the world, to leadership, big or small. And we start mapping out the layers of I call them layers. The book calls it levels, but I like
Yeah,
layers
yeah.
better because we're constantly peeling away layers of conditioning and all of the ego side of things. And then what I've really come to learn about and starting to embody and really just not just even belief anymore, it's just a knowing, is that all problems are psychological. All problems and challenges come from ego, and all solutions are spiritual. And so
I
when you apply
love
that to
that.
leadership, isn't that like when you apply that to leadership, that that's it. It's the essence of who you are. And it's about, we've talked about doing and being, and the human mind tends to go, and the human tendency is this all or nothing thinking. It's like, oh, you shouldn't be doing, you should be being. But it's about, and I was just thinking about this yesterday, it's about how you are being when you are doing. It's not, do you focus on doing or do you focus on being? You practice how to be in the world so that when you're doing,
Doing,
you are
yeah,
coming
your
from
being comes
being.
out.
And
Yeah,
so, and
yeah.
and we forget that so often, and we get caught up in the grind. And so, yes, totally resonates with me. I love it. It's something that it's like closet spiritual leadership or something. And
So
I've
how
more
do we get it
recently,
out of the closet?
so I'm just posting, I'm going to start posting about it more. I'm not a big poster, but I think this is where, when coming from your essence, it's not about me anymore. It's about how to have an impact. We both talk about how much impact that we can have in the world. And I think both you and I have the same similar thing. It's like we have so much value and so much knowledge to share. And we're just in the background, like you and I talk about it, but like this should be a conversation that thousands of people are having, because what it ends up leading to is more joy, more purpose, more ease, more fulfillment. When you can come from your essence, it requires very little, because it's not about me, it's not about you, it's not our ego. We just become the vessel for the work to come through. And can you imagine what kind of world we would have if everybody came from that place of essence? If everyone was sharing their unique gift with the world, there's only one of us in all of creation. And even if you and I talk about the same exact topic of leadership or even being in leadership, it's still going to resonate with different people. It's still going to come out in a different way based on all of the years of experience and different ways that we see the world, different ways we see leadership. So I think just sharing more about it and putting it out there, and then seeing, how it hits people, if it resonates, if it doesn't, who it resonates with, and then we just go from there to get it out there.
Yeah, it might be an interesting topic just to invite some people in to the
Yeah, I
discussion,
would love to hear,
right?
like,
And see who shows up, and
yeah,
whoever shows up are the right people,
yeah, exactly.
you know. So
Whoever show up is the right people.
yeah,
Hmm.
so that could be a very interesting exploration.
Yeah. And it taps into we've talked about the striving versus allowing.
Yeah,
When you run your own business, there's so much noise and around, who's your audience? Who do you want to speak to? Versus just talking from the inside out. We've both talked about the inner part of leadership is just share your unique perspective, and the people that show up are the right people, and we'll see what happens.